and another look at the Las Vegas skyline. This was home to tonight's Democratic presidential debate, and that is where KCRA 3's Lisa Gonzalez joins us live right now with a look at how the candidates addressed issues that are important to California voters. Lisa?
Yeah, and climate change was one of those issues, Golston. Now, they didn't all agree on how to address climate change, but they did agree that something needs to be done. Take a listen.
We don't elect a president who actually believes in climate science now. We will never meet any of the other scientific or policy deadlines that we need to.
If you're president, the first thing you do the first day is you rejoin the Paris Agreement. This is just ridiculous for us to drop out.
We cannot continue to let our public lands be used for profits by those who don't care about our environment and are not making it better.
We're fighting for the future of this planet. And the Green New Deal that I support, by the way, will create up to 20 million good-paying jobs as we move our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy.
Minority communities are the communities being most badly hurt by the way in which we deal with climate change. They are the ones that become the victims. That's where the asthma is. That's where the groundwater supply has been polluted.
This is a crisis, and a lot of our plans are very similar to get to carbon neutral by 2045, 2050, something like that. But we're not going to be able to pass this unless we bring people with us.
So again, Golston, they all had very different ideas, but they agreed that something needed to be done. Climate change was something that they dove into. They also talked a lot about healthcare, two of the big issues that were addressed tonight, Golston.
Yeah, it was not just about attacking each other. They did get down to some of the brass tacks when it comes to some of the issues that matter to people. And with that, let's get back to Brian Heap right now. He's talking to our panel of voters about these issues and what they think tonight, Brian.
Well, Golston, so we just heard all those comments from each of the candidates there talking about climate change. Let's just start there for a second. What were your reactions to what you heard there? Who impressed you with what they said about climate change? Who maybe needed to say more?
I think I'm looking for a candidate that is aggressive in pushing progressive policy to fight climate change. There's a recent study that said that 1/3 of all plant and wildlife will be extinct in 50 years if we don't clean our act together. So I want someone who's aggressive, and I think the Green New Deal, and Bernie was the only one that proposed such aggressive policy.
Same page, pretty much. I also appreciated Pete's urgency in his message. I think that was very important. This has to be now. We
he had that
wait.
2020
exactly.
line, remember?
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I think Senator Warren did a good job of explaining how to achieve a plan to fight climate change, but also trying to take care of the real life impacts of workers who are going to be affected by the changes in our economy that are wreaked by these changes. So I think she provided a detailed plan.
I agree. I think, again, Elizabeth Warren, she was aggressive. She made points on it, and and it's not just, even with the Green New Deal. While I would love for it to happen, it just seems like it's such an expensive process, and we're already in debt as a country. I mean, how do we pay for it?
I think hey, let's let Patty jump
in. I think it was important for what Elizabeth did say about replacing those jobs that are going to be lost, and I think that's a very important topic. And for the people in Nevada to hear, I think that was a good point that she had made.
Warren's response on the climate change and replacing the jobs was completely incoherent, though. She's talking about shutting down all the natural gas and the fracking and the energy producing jobs that blue collar workers are doing, and she wants to replace them with these green new jobs that these people don't have training for. And she's very unclear, and she's making these claims that we're going to replace them with your nice new cushy green job, but that's not the people that are worried about losing their jobs. They know that they're not going to go get some kind of tech industry job in the next week. And that's what people are worried about, losing their jobs in the tech industry. I'm so tired about hearing about the climate change. I mean, people in this country remember when gas prices were high, and now after fracking came in, it's low, and people approve of the economy. And so I think that this climate change hysteria, while it's good for getting claps and applause in the debate, is going to fall flat with voters.
Okay, let's let Casey jump in if he has something, because otherwise we're going to move on.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think it was important that Vice President Biden mentioned who climate change actually affects and that impact. And so we need to continue to elevate those voices and remind people that the environment is it impacts people at the lowest now, right? Drinking and everything else. And so it is important to remember that it's not just the environment, but it's also people that are impacted.
Let me quickly throw this one out there for everybody. One thing we didn't hear a lot of tonight that certainly affects us here in California is housing affordability, homelessness. Which is the candidate there that you think has the right approach? Let's just throw it out there for anybody.
I don't think anybody said anything about it, but if they bring it up. Elizabeth Warren, for me, as a black man, was the only candidate that spoke to my community to the degree, and I'm the president of the California Black Chamber. So we're in the middle right now of dealing with building affordable homes in areas like the North area in Sacramento. And so that's one of the most important things that's happening right now in this city. Today I had candidates from District 8 on my radio show, and we couldn't get past homelessness to get to affordable housing. So we have some real issues in black and brown communities when it comes to homelessness and housing, affordable housing, that we have to deal with on a local level, but also on a national level. And I think Elizabeth Warren is the only person that spoke to me, to my community.
I think that's the problem with these debates, is sometimes the moderators get too caught up in the gotcha question of whether or not you remember the president of Mexico's name and not really addressing a lot of the real life problems that Americans face every day.
Okay, well, we're gonna move on, but thanks so much for everybody. And so Golston, I think you heard there, certainly there were a couple of things that we touched on tonight in the debate that affect Californians, but certainly we've got some big things in California that weren't touched on as well.
Yeah, well, and just a great response from your panel there, Brian. We'll check back with you in a second. First of all, let's go back to our Democratic analyst, Robin Swanson, and Republican analyst, Reverend Dwight Williams. Robin, let's start with you. First of all, the candidates speaking not only to Nevada voters tonight, but beyond that, California voters and the other voters who will be voting in Super Tuesday. What do these candidates need to do to break through in the California primary, now less than 2 weeks away?
Yeah, and I'm so excited that California finally gets to matter. We have 40 million people in the state of California.
Absolutely.
1 in 8 Americans lives here, and now we're going to see the presidential candidates really do the retail politicking that they need. And so, you know, you're not going to stop seeing Bloomberg ads, and if anything, he's going to double down after that debate performance of all the ads. I think you're going to see a lot of that here in California. You're going to need to see a lot of door-to-doors. You're going to see a lot of the rallies. We already saw Mayor Pete here in Sacramento a few days ago. Right. So that's what you're going to see here in California, and I think that's to the benefit of voters here.
Yes,
we finally have a voice.
A lot more attention. So, Reverend, you watched the whole thing tonight.
Yes.
Did you see anybody out there that can beat your man?
No. I think with the current economic conditions that it is right now, President Trump is in a great position. Look, the Central Valley in California in particular is getting a great amount of attention. President Trump was just in Bakersfield today. So as I mentioned, the upping of the primary to March 3rd is great for us. We're getting both from the president as well as from his Democratic competitors on the other side. But no, I don't believe any of the trajectory of the race has changed basically from what it is tonight. Even though everybody had a great night, I think the trajectory is still the same between Mayor Bloomberg and Bernie Sanders, and I don't believe either one of them will beat Donald Trump in November.
Okay, Reverend, Robin, thank you very much. We'll be back to you in a minute. When we come back, we're going to have everyone's final thoughts on this tonight as the road to the White House continues. And another aerial look at Las Vegas, home to tonight's Democratic presidential candidate. And that is where KCRA 3's Lisa Gonzalez is standing by live with some of her final thoughts on how things went down with the debate tonight, Lisa.
Yeah, well, Golston, I think Elizabeth Warren came out swinging like a candidate who lost in New Hampshire and Iowa. I mean, she really came to play tonight and put on a show here in Las Vegas. Bloomberg seemed to be mostly playing defense for the whole debate, and Bernie Sanders gave about as much as he was attacked. He dished out a lot as well. Biden, you know, Obama is still extremely popular with the Democratic Party, and he seemed to try to bring that up a lot and try to maybe create a spark in his candidacy right now. And Klobuchar and Buttigieg seem to just be going at it for most of the night. Either way, you can tell that these candidates feel the pressure of Super Tuesday just right around the corner, Golston.
Oh, yeah, trying to get their message out. Lisa, thanks for that. Let's get back to Brian Heap right now with some final thoughts from our panel of voters. Brian.
Yeah, Golston, we're going to go rapid fire style. We'll start with you, Casey. Just your final thoughts tonight.
Yeah, what is a nation that profits but loses its soul? And I think that we're looking for a leader who can unify us and bring back the heart to our country.
Bernie was the guy to beat. Nobody went after him. They went after Bloomberg instead. Bernie's going to clinch the nomination, then he's going to get the wiped. Donald Trump's going to wipe him out.
Okay.
I believe Elizabeth Warren has a chance now. I still don't see anybody on stage who can beat Donald Trump, though.
Patty?
I was disappointed I didn't hear more about housing, and I think that I lost my train of thought in my last second. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
That Pete Buttigieg, I think, with the unification that Casey mentioned, I think that's extremely important for our candidate.
Very good, Patty.
I think if you're Bernie, you're happy you're in the lead. You didn't get hit that much. You walk away and still in the lead. But I think the story is Senator Warren here. She had a resurgence, and I think she clearly had a plan for this debate.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Taylor?
Bernie's still at the top. Warren had a great performance, and yeah, just everyone please vote.
Derek, you get the last word.
I think the Bernie and Bloomberg foil is an exciting thing to watch and a great representation of the current state of the Democratic Party. So I'm looking forward.
Thank you all for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. Gulson, back to you.
All right, back to our analysts, Reverend and Robin. Final thoughts, go.
Economic freedom will always beat democratic socialism. I believe, as one of the panelists said, that socialism and democratic with Bernie Sanders will win, and I think if that's the case, Donald Trump will win in November.
Okay, Robin, I'll give you the final word tonight.
Yeah, I don't think who never won a debate is Donald Trump. And guess who's our president? So what happens is the gaffes, those make the light of day with their repeaters, everything that happens on social media and the campaign structure. So whoever has the best campaign structure and the stamina to win, that's who's going to be our next president.
All right, Robin, Reverend, thank you so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. The California primary, of course, less than 2 weeks away now. Expect more special live coverage leading up to that election.